Here's how to stop double booking yourself when you use more than one calendar. Someone at one organization checked my Outlook availability, saw 2 p.m. open, and booked it. The problem was that I already had a client meeting at 2, but it lived in a separate Google Calendar. Your calendars can't prevent conflicts if they don't talk to each other. The double booking happened because of the gap between the two systems. This is common for consultants, freelancers, fractional executives, and anyone working across organizations. You might have Microsoft 365 for your employer, Google Workspace for a client, and iCloud for personal appointments. You know all 3 calendars belong to you. The platforms do not. Each account calculates availability from the events it can access. A calendar event does 2 different jobs. It tells you what's happening. It also marks that period as free or busy. That busy state is what scheduling tools use. Outlook checks the availability it can access in its Microsoft environment. Google checks the calendars available to that Google account. An event stored only in Google does not automatically create a busy block in Outlook. Without a real sync connection, the busy signal stops at the account boundary. You can often overlay another calendar so that you can see both schedules on your own screen. That helps when you are looking, but it does not necessarily update what other people see when they schedule you through your work calendar. An overlay changes your view. A sync changes the information each calendar uses to report whether you are free or busy. That is the difference between I can see everything and the scheduling system knows I am unavailable. A lot of people build a manual workaround. It seems simple enough. Copy events between calendars, keep one master calendar and try to update it, open 3 browser tabs before accepting a meeting, subscribe to another calendar using an ICS link and assume the calendars are now fully synchronized. They're not. These methods can help. They can improve visibility, but they leave a lot of margin for error, can be unnecessarily time-consuming, and depend on someone remembering every new event, moved meeting, cancellation, and recurring meeting exception. Take this scenario for example. A client moves a meeting, a flight changes, one occurrence of a weekly series moves while the remaining meetings stay in place. If the second calendar does not receive that update, it shows either a false conflict or a false opening. Another thing to consider are the cracks in these methods. For example, manual copying can lead you to expose private details. A client meeting may need to appear in another organization's calendar only as busy, not with its title, attendees, notes, location, and meeting link. When you're doing all the work manually, simple mistakes are easy to make. To understand why tools like CalendarBridge are the most foolproof way to prevent double bookings, it's helpful to understand how a calendar sync connection works. First, it has to detect the source event. Then it creates a corresponding event or busy block on the destination calendar. If the original event changes, the synced event has to change with it. And if the original event is deleted, the synced event needs to disappear too. It also needs privacy controls. Accurate availability does not require copying every meeting detail. Across different organizations, a private block labeled busy usually does the job. In order to get your calendar synced and ensure the sync connections have the privacy levels you need CalendarBridge. CalendarBridge is a tool that works in the background of the calendars you already use. It's not another app to download or calendar to manage. Think of it like adding a translator between people who speak different languages. Your Google, Outlook, and Apple calendars can keep using their own language, but CalendarBridge makes sure they all understand each other. It's very easy to set up in just a few steps. But first, you need to decide what type of sync connection you need. Use a one-way sync when you want one calendar to appear in another, but not the other way around. For example, You might want your Outlook calendar to appear in Google Calendar while keeping your Google Calendar out of Outlook. Use a multi-directional sync when you want every connected calendar to reflect each other's busy time. For example, if you connect Google and Outlook, Outlook events appear in Google and Google events appear in Outlook. For example, a consultant with 2 client calendars and 1 personal calendar may want all 3 calendars to reflect their combined availability, while sharing only busy, not the underlying details. The first step is simple. Just list every calendar that can legitimately make you unavailable. Remember, one Google or Outlook account can contain multiple calendars, so don't just think about your accounts. Think about the individual calendars inside them. For example, you might have a primary calendar, a client project calendar, a delegated executive calendar, or a personal iCloud calendar. You can ignore informational calendars like public holidays or release schedules since they don't block your availability. Now that you know which type of sync you need, let's build it in CalendarBridge. We'll assume you've already signed in and connected the calendar accounts you want to sync. In the left panel, click Manage Syncs. This is where you'll create the connections between your calendars. If you only want one calendar to appear in another, choose Create One-Way Sync. If you want multiple calendars to stay in sync with each other, choose Sync Multiple Calendars Both Directions. For example, if you select 3 calendars, CalendarBridge automatically creates every sync between them. You don't have to create each connection yourself. Let's look at what that actually means. Here's a one-way sync from Google to Outlook. Events from Google appear in Outlook, but new events created in Outlook don't appear in Google. If you want both calendars to stay up to date, the sync has to go both directions. Next, decide how much information should be shared. For most cross-company syncs, busy is the right option. The other calendar knows you're unavailable, but it doesn't see who you're meeting with or what the meeting is about. It won't copy the client name, attendees, description, location, or meeting link. If you do want to share that information, you can choose title only or full event instead. The goal isn't to combine your calendars into one. The goal is to make availability accurate while the accounts remain separate. Now let's make sure everything is working the way it should. Create a test event on calendar A and confirm that calendar B becomes busy. Move the source event and confirm that the destination block moves. Cancel the source event and confirm that the copied block disappears. That test verifies the 3 behaviors that actually prevent double bookings: creation, update, and deletion. Google and Microsoft changes generally propagate within a minute or 2. iCloud and ICS-based calendars may update on a longer interval, typically every 5 to 10 minutes. Before proper sync, the client meeting exists in Google while Outlook shows an opening. A coworker sees the opening and sends an invitation. After proper sync, the Google meeting creates a private busy block in Outlook. The coworker sees that 2 p.m. is unavailable before inviting you. The original Google meeting details remain private. The false opening simply disappears. That is the practical outcome. The calendar being used to schedule you now reflects commitments stored somewhere else. For consultants and fractional leaders, the main issue is cross-client confidentiality. Client A does not need to know you are meeting with Client B. Client A only needs to know that you are unavailable. The original event stays in its native client calendar. A minimal placeholder blocks the same time elsewhere. This is especially useful when company policies prevent you from forwarding the original meeting invitation between organizations. You are sharing availability, not transferring the meeting itself. Freelancers often use external booking links. A booking page is reliable only if it checks every calendar that can make you unavailable. Calendar Sync aligns availability shown inside your native calendars. A multi-calendar scheduling page handles the external side by checking connected calendars before offering a time. These functions solve related problems, but they are not identical. Sync keeps your calendars and internal scheduling tools aligned. A scheduling page controls which times outside context can book. Recurring meetings are where manual workflows fail fastest. One occurrence can move, another can be canceled, the entire series can end early. A reliable sync has to reflect those changes so an old busy block does not remain after the source meeting moves or disappears. When testing your setup, include at least one moved occurrence from a recurring series. That is especially important when your week contains standing meetings across several clients or organizations. Avoid 3 common mistakes. Do not sync only one direction when both calendars receive new meetings. Do not copy full event details when a private busy block is enough. And do not test only one event creation. Test moves and cancellations too. The question is not, can I see the event? The real question is, does every calendar people use to schedule me show the correct busy state? Stopping double bookings is not mainly a reminder problem. It is an availability data problem. When separate calendars do not share busy time, people schedule against incomplete information. When the right calendars are synchronized in the right directions with the right privacy settings, those false free slots disappear. CalendarBridge is the layer I'm using in this workflow to connect the accounts, create private busy blocks, and keep changes aligned without replacing Google Calendar, Outlook, or iCloud. The observable result is fewer conflicts, less manual copying, and accurate availability in the tools you and the people around you already use.